everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. I've been asked this question on most of the platforms that I'm on, Facebook and Instagram, a couple of comments and some previous videos here on YouTube, how much I have spent on my Forester in the year that I've owned it. And in today's video I'm going to cover that, as well as giving a parts breakdown of everything that's has gone into it. So without further ado, alright, so we'll try to break this down into sections, if you will. So we'll do long block, oiling, cooling, both as far as the water system goes, and the top mount intercooler. We'll do induction, being the intake, and turbo, exhaust, and engine management. Yeah, that'll be it. For the long block, after I got this car to my house and got everything tore down, found out that the long block was completely destroyed. Ended up having to get an entire new system for that. So currently, the case halves were bored and honed to 99.75. Everything was machined, decked plain. Everything was just tightened up, which was awesome. It has the nitrate coated crank. I'm running the Manley H-beam Tough Series rods, pushing the Male Motorsport Performance piston, King race bearings all the way around. Moving out from that to the heads. Like I said, both heads are brand new. Basically everything in them is all stock. I did put SuperTech exhaust and intake valves all the way around, just because from what I read they were they're stronger than stock, which is great. So running SuperTech valves and stock camshafts. Again, those were brand new because the ones that were in them completely trashed. That's got the long block. Alright, moving on to oiling. The oiling system have the IAG three-prong style upgraded not oil pump, but the pickup tube. Running a brand new one of those. The oil pan is an upgraded, newer style STI oil pan compared to what was on it. Moving on to the oil pump. The oil pump is the STI 11mm oil pump. Make sure I have adequate pressure to make sure everything gets proper oiling for the power rating that I want. Moving on to cooling. Running a new water pump. The radiator hoses and all that stuff were fine. Nothing fancy there. Got an upgraded Mishimoto radiator. Now, when I bought the car, it had a Mishimoto in it, and I've had a couple of cars now that I've ran Mishimoto products in. A big fan. I've had nothing but great things to say, experience-wise, and just, it's a good product. So, the radiator that was in the car when I got it was bad. Replaced it with this one. So I got the Mishimoto radiator. As far as the intercooler goes, I replaced it as well. I have the Grimspeed one here. Obviously all black. I just like how it looks. The car came with an APS intercooler on it, but after getting a car, the motor and everything torn apart, it was just full of oil. It was really bulky. Didn't really fit in the engine compartment at all. It looked kind of out of place. I didn't like it, so that's why I now have a Grimspeed. Moving on to the air system right there. Again, that's an APS air system. Not a huge fan of the intakes that go into the wheel well, but it's there. I didn't have to buy it. It works for now, so that's why it's there. So we've got the APS hard line right here. This is an aluminum tube right into the cob and pairing turbo inlet pipes right there, and obviously running those, you get more airflow. It's a smoother transition, and it's less likely to have any type of flex under the heat soak that's going to happen in this car. Going from there into the turbo, I'm running a Force Performance Series or Blue Series turbo. I believe that turbo was rated at 475 horsepower, or rated for rather a solid 475. I am not going to be pushing that amount of power to it, so it should be more than enough for what I want out of this car. Going into the exhaust section, I should have ran headers, a Tomei or something like that, equal length header. I did not do that. I opted to keep the Subi Rumble, so I stuck with STI, I think it's 2004, 2005 model that I picked up. I don't remember, but it's the STI exhaust manifolds with the Grimspeed high flow cross pipe into an APS up pipe. Again, the APS up pipe was on the car when I had it. I couldn't tell you what millimeter it is, just that it's an aftermarket up pipe, which is great. Moving through the turbo to the downpipe, we have an NVIDIA catless downpipe, and from the cat back, it's an APS system. Again, the APS system came with the car. I didn't have to purchase that. I guess also if we're talking about air induction and the air system and all that stuff, I'm running the 3mm flanelic spacers between the intake and the block. And the TGVs, I did kind of like a pseudo TGV delete. Again, hindsight, I should have run a full TGV delete. If not doing it myself, buying the TGVs that were completely deleted already and putting them on the car, and then just kind of using the tuner to kind of wipe out whatever kind of codes that would be there. But I didn't do that. I just removed the butterflies that were on the valves themselves to give it more airflow. So after tuning it, I'll kind of make a judgment call on whether I need to go ahead, pull the intake off again, and put the deleted TGVs in there to give me optimal airflow for the power rating that I want. Going on from there, we'll talk about fueling. I am running, well, the car had a Walbro 255 fuel pump in it with a complete stock setup as far as fuel lines and rails and all that stuff in the car. I did not want that. That was not sufficient enough for what I wanted to push as far as horsepower goes. So, got rid of all that stuff. Put in an AEM 340 fuel pump. And that's pushing fuel through the injector dynamics kit, that meaning the fuel rails, the 1050cc injectors, and the fuel lines. That's completely ran from my fuel system. I'm still running the stock fuel pressure regulator because the system is made to run with that. Also, I was told that that should be fine for the horsepower rating that I want. But like I've said in a couple videos now, if the fuel pressure regulator is not sufficient enough and it's just kind of getting a little weird, once we're starting to up the boost and try to throw down the horsepower that I want, then I'll have no problem with getting an aftermarket fuel pressure regulator and running it. But as for now, it's just the stock one. It works like it needs to be. As far as engine management goes, I'm running the Access Port V3. Yeah, I mean, if you got a Subaru and you need an access port, plain and simple. As far as tune goes, I have not had a tuning day yet. I'm simply running a base map tune from my tuner for my specific setup. So for the few people that have commented on a few videos of mine asking if they've missed a tuning video, or I've also gotten some comments from Instagram and Facebook. I have not put out a tuning video yet. Don't worry, that will be in the future for sure. Alright, if we're talking about keeping my engine clean, I'm running the IAG Street Series Air Oil Separator right here. Wound up picking the Street Series because I didn't want to have to deal with anything weird going back to States. I had read a bunch of stuff online that people had the Competition Series, and instead of flowing and recirculating the air, it just kind of vents at the atmosphere. So if there's any weird deposits or residue in the air that's moving through the system, it just kind of turns into this weird filmy thing and vents to atmosphere, it drips on the ground. And I didn't want to have to deal with that. So Street Series it is. I'm not sure exactly where any of these would fit in, but what I'm using for mounts, I have the IAG pitch mount, the IAG engine mounts, and the IAG trans mount. All three of those are competition series with that really hard polyurethane, I guess it's a polyurethane, the really hard bushing, really stiff, hopefully to eliminate most any movement that would be caused from the engine itself, giving me the most optimal power transfer out, which is awesome. Speaking of movement and stuff, we can roll into suspension. As far as suspension goes, right now it's basically a stock setup. The only thing that's not stock, from just kind of browsing over and stuff that I've put on personally, so the car came with front and rear sway bars already put on. It's a Cobb version. I don't know if they make them for this car specifically anymore, but it's got the Cobb series front and rear sway bar. Don't know the millimeter. I would assume it's probably a mil or two bigger in the front and the 26, 28 mil in the back. Just winging it. I don't know for sure, but that's what's on it. I have personally put on the STI rear lateral links. That was a couple videos ago, and the Cartboy end links, front and rear, just to stiffen those up. All of that stuff was kind of blown out. Yeah, so that basically covers suspension. That pretty much covers everything that I have on the car. I mean, there's like small stuff like the intercooler brackets, the master gasket kit, the little nitpicky things, oil cap, little nitpicky things. That basically covers everything that I've got on the car. And as far as the total cost goes, the total cost of what I've spent thus far, that's a big old number. It's about $18,630. That's not down to the cent. That's a pretty good estimate of what I've gotten invested in the car currently. And yes, that is a large chunk of change. Definitely not saying that to boast or brag. Just kind of an informative thing. If you're planning on building a project car or something like this, you're definitely going to have to invest a little bit of money. And there's some corners that I could have cut to save money, like as far as assembling everything myself, but I don't have the specialty tools to do all the measurements and stuff. So that's why the machine shop via Andy at Subi Performance did all that stuff. So some stuff was tasked out, but it is very expensive. It's a very expensive hobby. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's basically going to wrap up today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate your time spending with me out here in my little garage. It's really cool. Man, that bus is messing up my outro. Anyway, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and tag that subscription button if you are not subscribed already, and maybe go ahead and hit the notification bell just to give you the first alert whenever I get a new video posted. Please enjoy the rest of your morning, evening, whatever it is for you around the world, and I will catch you guys in the next video later. I should have written a list down, you guys, and had it like tacked on the wall so I don't lose my train of thought. This is probably going to take quite a few takes. That's me, though.